Senator Madigan.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. Today I rise to speak to the MPI, the Prime Minister's failed leadership. But quite frankly, Australians are sick of this self-indulgent BS. Mr Acting Deputy President, the average unemployment rate is 6.2%, in Victoria it's 6.1% and South Australia it's 7.9%. These figures concern me. They concern me more than today's MPI stunt. I don't make any excuses for the current Prime Minister or former Prime Ministers, but I would like to point out that I don't hold the other two prospective candidates in any higher regard, namely Mr Turnbull and Mr Shorten. Instead, I think we as a parliament should stop bickering about the Prime Minister's leadership and instead focus on our country and our people. When I think about failures in government, I think of Manus Island, I think of the fact no contracts were signed for the building of our submarines or our frigates under the previous government. I think of the loss of the car industry, and I think of the fact that governments of all persuasions haven't established a sensible Australian procurement policy. And when it comes to determining whether a Prime Minister has failed, I prefer to let the ultimate judge be the Australian people at an election time, not faceless men who've moved up the party political ranks through deals and delusion. So today, Mr Acting Deputy President, let me speak about how the office of Prime Minister has failed over successive governments, both Labor and Liberal. In my working life alone, I've seen car manufacturing heavy industry shrink. We had Nissan, we had Mitsubishi, we still currently have Ford, Toyota and Holden. I've seen the demise of Massey Ferguson, Vickers Ruol, Jarks, the Industrial Engineering Group. I've seen the breakup of BHP and its divisions. BHP was a conglomerate of engineering and manufacturing oil and gas, from the Ream hot water services to Waratah Farm fencing, to structural steel for our bridges and our buildings. The steel industry is currently in crisis from dumped materials on our shores. Emerging economies across the world are trying to build and maintain a manufacturing base while we are letting ours go to rack and ruin. Many nations look upon Australia with contempt to know that we have a car industry, yet we are bidding it good riddance. Our governments of all persuasions seem to be all talk. One would think with the amount of white and green papers coming out of this place, government might be able to advance Australia's interests, but I guess that'd be just naive. When I have CEOs and presidents of large multinational companies coming into my office telling me that their company is reluctant to further invest in Australia because of the consistent chatter about leadership, whether it be Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott or Malcolm Turnbull, I wonder what the hell is going on. Sometimes I think Australian industry might be better off if Parliament didn't sit and politicians just kept their mouths shut. As I've said in my maiden speech, if we are not making decisions that make the lives of Australians better, then we should at least make sure that we do not make them any worse. Currently, we have a tsunami of job losses approaching us from the demise of the automotive manufacturing and components manufacturing sectors. We are on the verge of delivering hopelessness, despair and lack of self-esteem, self-worth and self-respect to tens of thousands of Australians. People are asking us to stop bickering and get on with the job of managing the country for the benefit of all Australians. Our economy is hostage currently to commodity prices, peaks and troughs, and we seem to be a country that is unwilling to add value and to strive to provide meaningful employment for all Australians. Only this afternoon I was speaking to a chap who in his 40-year working life said to me that his company started in the 1890s, they've exported to the world and they currently still do. And he said, we as a nation no longer have the ability to do non-ferrous metal extrusion in this country. And for those of you who don't know, that's copper and brass. we can't do that very basic thing on our own shores. Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy
Thank you,
President.